In today's economic climate, the right and left are both scratching their heads and saying, how is it that we still spend so much on corrections and have in fact been growing those budgets, but we don't see the kinds of results we would expect? Crime is down, yes, but it has been down for years and is certainly not falling at the rate that correctional spending is growing. Today, we have over 2.2 million people incarcerated in state and federal prisons in this country, but they still have a 2 in 5 chance of committing another crime after they're released from prison. That's not to mention that we have nearly 5 million people under correctional supervision. Our system is certainly designed to punish offenders for their crimes, but it also has a responsibility to correct their behavior before releasing them back into the community. And yet, the data paint a grim picture of how ineffectively our systems are meeting that public safety goal. The fiscal crises over the past few years have plagued governments at all levels, from federal to state to county to municipal. However, in this time of austerity, the conversation about criminal justice reform has come into sharp focus for both sides of the political spectrum, as more and more people are asking, are we getting our money's worth? In criminal justice, the answer has often been a woeful no, we are not. In the past decade, crime rates have been consistently going down, yet correctional spending has been rising, and any declines in the prison or jail population have been modest compared to the crime rates. In 2011, states spent $52 billion on corrections, with an estimated $53.3 billion spent in 2012. From 1989 to 2009, the annual state and federal spending on corrections grew by 305%, rising at a pace far greater than changes in spending on education, healthcare, and social service programs. But that spending doesn't appear to drive lower crime rates. At best, the research shows that higher incarceration rates explained only between 20 and 30% of the crime decreases we saw in the 1990s. If we look at the past decade, we see that 19 states who cut their imprisonment rates still experienced a decrease in their crime rates. Yet, as spending tripled over the past decade, the 3-year recidivism rate for released inmates remained basically the same. In 1999, it was 45.4%. In 2007, it fell to 43.3%, only about a 2% difference. The headline is clear. We spend a lot and don't get much in return. Every day in our criminal justice systems, we put together men and women with very different backgrounds and experiences into the same programs with one another, whether during pretrial or post-sentencing. We provide the young man with a stable job and a strong family with the same anger management program as the young man who has been bouncing from home to home and who has a long criminal history. Why? Because they both committed an assault, and anger management seems called for in that situation. Sadly, though, this one-size-fits-all approach may not only mean that we are not serving one or the other young man well, but it may actually mean that we're making one of them worse. In 2002, researchers Christopher Lowenkamp and Edward Latessa conducted a study in Ohio that provided evidence of just how harmful this one-size-fits-all approach can be. The study was the largest ever conducted of community-based correctional treatment facilities. Lowenkamp and Latessa tracked a total of 13,221 offenders who were placed in one of 38 halfway houses and 15 community-based correctional facilities throughout the state of Ohio. They conducted a 2-year follow-up on all offenders, looking at recidivism measures like new arrests and incarceration in state penal institutions. The chart here represents the different effects of treatment on recidivism by risk group, high-risk offenders and low-risk offenders. The best illustration of the risk principle can be seen by looking at the programs that had the most effect for high-risk offenders. If we look at program KK and program MM, we can see that these two programs reduce recidivism for high-risk offenders by over 30%. Yet, When we go back and look at their effect for low-risk offenders, we see that Program MM actually increased recidivism for this group by 7%, and Program KK by 29%. Even Program LL, which had some positive impact on low-risk offenders, only saw a negligible change in their recidivism, even if positive. The impact on high-risk offenders, again, strongly outstripped that change. Thus, the same programs that were able to reduce recidivism for high-risk offenders may actually increase it for low-risk offenders. And the conclusions of this study continue to be reinforced by later research, where it has held across geographic locations and types of offense.